Toyota isn't just popular in New Zealand, it's dominant, making up close to a quarter of every new passenger vehicle sold here, and the RAV4 has topped the sales charts for years running. That kind of dominance is earned, not accidental. But the brand everyone buys and the smartest choice for your wallet aren't automatically the same thing. And once you actually dig into servicing costs, parts availability, and how these brands hold up on New Zealand's specific mix of gravel back roads, mountain passes, and long distances between towns, several brands close the gap on Toyota or beat it outright. Drop a comment telling us whereabouts in the country you're driving, because dealer reach genuinely changes this conversation depending on whether you're in central Auckland or out past Tainao. Let's get into it. Starting at number 5, Kia. A decade ago, this would have been a stretch in New Zealand, where Japanese brands have always held the trust advantage. But Kia has closed that gap fast, and the warranty math actually favors Kia over Toyota. Kia backs its New Zealand lineup with a longer factory warranty, which means when something significant goes wrong in year 6, 7, or 8, there's a real chance Kia is still footing the bill while a Toyota owner is paying out of pocket. Models like the Kia Sportage and Sorento have built a genuine following here, handling everything from Auckland's motorway grind to South Island gravel without drama, and independent mechanics consistently report cheaper parts pricing than Toyota's dealer network. That distinction matters more in a small market like New Zealand than almost anywhere else, because when a country only has a handful of dealers per brand, parts pricing and availability become the real determinant of your running costs, not just the reliability rating on a spec sheet. If you're cross-shopping a RAV4 against a Sportage, don't assume the Toyota badge automatically means a cheaper bill at your local mechanic, because increasingly it doesn't. If you've run a Kia through a Kiwi winter, tell us in the comments how the servicing costs actually stacked up. Number 4, Hyundai. Hyundai and Kia share a parent company and a lot of engineering, so it's no surprise they land next to each other here. But Hyundai earns its own spot for a specific reason: how gradually repair costs climb as the vehicle ages. Where plenty of brands see servicing bills spike hard once a car passes the 150,000 kilometer mark, Hyundai's climb tends to be more gentle, particularly on models like the Tucson and Santa Fe, both of which have become genuinely common sights on New Zealand roads. Hyundai has also worked hard to expand its dealer footprint into smaller regional centers, which matters enormously in a country this spread out, where a Toyota owner in a small town might have easy access to service, while a rare badge would mean driving hours for a scheduled appointment. On top of that, Hyundai's parts pricing tends to run below Toyota's OEM equivalents on common items like brake assemblies and suspension components. It's not a dramatic advantage, it's a steady, unglamorous one. And unglamorous is exactly what you want when you're budgeting to run a car for a decade on New Zealand roads. Hit subscribe if you're the kind of buyer who actually cares about the real running costs instead of just chasing whatever badge everyone else drives. Number 3, Mazda. This is where the list gets genuinely interesting, because more than one comparison actually ranks Mazda ahead of Toyota on servicing cost here, not just level with it. Mazda has stayed conservative with its engineering for 2 decades, favoring naturally aspirated petrol engines over smaller turbocharged units that are cheaper to manufacture but pricier to repair. The Mazda 3 and CX-5 have built a genuinely strong reputation in New Zealand for reliability without the electrical quirks that plague some flashier rivals, and Mazda's local parts network has kept pace even in smaller centers, which is no small thing in a market this size. New Zealand's roads add a specific wrinkle that's worth knowing about. A huge portion of the used car fleet here comes in as Japanese imports, and Mazda's simpler mechanical layouts tend to be easier and cheaper for local mechanics to work on regardless of whether the car arrived new from an NZ dealer or came in secondhand. If you've had a Mazda service somewhere outside the main centers, let us know how the wait times and pricing compare to your nearest Toyota dealer. Number 2, Subaru. Standard or widely available all-wheel drive gives Subaru a practical advantage that goes well beyond the spec sheet in New Zealand specifically, where sealed roads can turn to gravel fast the moment you head into the high country or down south. The Outback and Forester have built genuinely loyal followings here for exactly that reason, handling everything from central Otago back roads to wet Wellington commutes without complaint. Subaru's older boxer engines carried a well-known head gasket issue that could get expensive to fix. Being a boxer design means there's effectively a head on each end, doubling the potential cost. And that's worth knowing if you're shopping used, which a huge number of Kiwi buyers are. But Subaru moved away from the faulty gasket material years ago, and on recent model years, that problem has largely disappeared, with overall servicing costs now sitting competitively close to Toyota's. Where Subaru genuinely earns its spot on this list is avoided cost, fewer accident and drivetrain-related repairs thanks to standard AWD traction, combined with strong resale value, built entirely on that reputation for handling New Zealand's tougher back roads. If Subaru's gotten you through a South Island winter or up a farm trek, we want to hear about it below. Number 1. Honda. This is the brand that goes toe-to-toe with Toyota on its own terms. And on the repair cost side specifically, Honda actually edges ahead in independent comparisons more often than not. Honda sits in the same top tier as Toyota for long-term reliability. And locally, the CR-V and Civic both show strong track records of clearing well past 200,000 kilometers with nothing more than scheduled maintenance. Something that matters a great deal in a country where cars tend to get driven hard and kept for a long time. What separates Honda from Toyota in practice isn't a massive reliability gap, because there really isn't one. It's what you pay when routine repairs come due. Honda's average servicing cost consistently lands at or below Toyota's in New Zealand comparisons, and labor costs at independent mechanics tend to run cheaper too, since Honda's mechanical layouts are widely understood by every trained mechanic in the country, not just factory-trained dealer techs, which matters a lot given how many Hondas arrive here as used Japanese imports that end up serviced outside the official dealer network entirely. Honda's CVT transmissions in certain older model years did draw criticism, and it's worth knowing before buying used, but that issue has largely been engineered out of recent generations. In a country where every vehicle takes a beating from hills, gravel, and long distances between towns, Honda's combination of near-identical reliability to Toyota, consistently lower repair costs, and a mechanic network that genuinely rivals Toyota's reach makes it the strongest case on this entire list for beating Toyota, where it actually counts, your wallet. Here's the honest bottom line. Toyota's dominance in New Zealand isn't hype, and for a huge number of Kiwi buyers it remains the safest, smartest default, particularly given how unmatched its dealer and parts network is once you get outside the main centers. But the safest bet and the best value aren't automatically the same vehicle. And these 5 brands prove that assumption deserve a second look before you sign anything at the dealership. If this breakdown changed how you're thinking about your next car, hit like so more Kiwi drivers see it before they walk onto a yard. Subscribe if you want more head-to-head breakdowns like this one, because there are more brands worth reconsidering coming soon. And drop your region in the comments along with which of these 5 has actually earned your trust, because real ownership experience from right across this country beats any spec sheet we could put in front of you. Buy smart, not by trend.